That was a big time home run. Big time beef in sports media this week. Randy, you like that transition?
I like that you said beef.
Beef.
Big time beef.
All caps. Beef.
It was all caps beef, which it always is when Stephen A. Smith is involved, right? But he and Suns owner Matt Ishbia kind of going back and forth this week. Stephen A. Smith said he's one of the worst owners in the history of the NBA. You can't couple him with guys like Donald Sterling.
Yeah.
And that was where Ishbia kind of fought back at him and said he owes me an apology, or he will apologize, because you're coupling me with someone who is out of the league for issues that are far more serious than me, bringing in Kevin Durant and building a super team, right? Yeah. But what Matt Ishbia also said in that response was, okay, I've put all the games on TV basically for free. I lowered all the prices, concession prices in the stadium, because I walked the concourse and those were too high. I built $1 $100 million practice facility for the Phoenix Mercury, so we're investing in the women's league. So those things, a lot of people would want that as an owner. And I think he's right in that sense. Like, the fan experience in Phoenix is great. The arena is beautiful, all of that stuff that goes along with it. But at the end of the day, you're here to win basketball games.
Right.
And if the more you win, the more your fans are going to love you even more. So maybe Matt Ishbia needs to step away from the basketball decision making and know and be more confident in the people that I guess he didn't hire James Jones, the GM, but like people on his staff that are there to make those basketball decisions.
Yeah.
Because they've been in the game a whole lot longer than Matt Ishbia has.
And done it at the highest level too.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about that as well. And it'll be hard to see him not try to deal with the basketball operation part of it, just because he's a former hooper. Like, played at Michigan State, was there under Tom Izzo. So that's, for me, thinking about just his basketball background and who he learned under and just what he saw and what he was exposed to at Michigan State and just his love for the game. That's the tough part where I can't see him stepping away. But maybe there's a conversation that happens between Ishbia and someone that he respects and says, like, hey, Matt, you got to step away from this one, man.
There needs to be a happy medium of some sort.
It has to be. It has to be, because, and even going back to last year, before we even got to this spot, for what his quote was and what he said, I'm not going to quote him directly on this one, but what he said about this roster for the Phoenix Suns, that any team in the NBA would love to have this roster.
Yeah.
Well,
look what just happened to that roster.
I know. And this roster is going to be finito.
Yeah.
At some point this offseason.
Yeah.
So you can't make these type of statements and not back it up with success. And the Phoenix Suns have been mediocre or below average. Let's just call it what it is. And below average, honestly, fits more appropriately for what they've been able to not achieve.
Which is crazy when you have the talent that they have on that roster.
Yeah.
And the Suns were kind of in a down trajectory when Matt Ishbia bought the team. Yeah. They had come off of that finals appearance. They lost the next season to the Mavericks in the conference semifinals, which was a huge disappointment because they had another championship roster. That was still when Monty Williams was on the team, or the coach. And then Ishbia comes in and makes a ton of moves, and then the Suns have been terrible ever since. So if you're pointing the finger at anyone in terms of the basketball moves that have gone on, I think you do have to point a finger at Matt Ishbia. Yeah. It's just now, how does he turn that around?
You're starting from the ground up because Kevin Durant is gone.
Yeah.
Devin Booker should be gone.
Right.
I don't think he...
Which I think is going to be an issue for Suns fans, because Suns fans love Devin Booker. He's been there for his entire career.
All-time franchise leading scorer. Like, he's a dude that you build around.
Yeah.
And they've tried. You have to give them some type of credit. They have tried, but it just hasn't worked. And so if you're Devin Booker, how long do you stay around?
I don't know.
Like, is it worth it? Is it worth that you take away more of your prime years to just get more younger guys in, work through the draft, maybe get another superstar in to see if it could work?
Doing a partial rebuild?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound fun.
No, not at all. And I know he loves Phoenix. Absolutely loves it. But
at the end of the day, do you love Phoenix or do you love winning basketball games?
Would
you want to win a championship or do you want to live in a beautiful climate?
Yep. The business side of it. Yeah. No doubt.
I guess we can open this up to like any sport, but owners, and I'm not talking owners that are in the Donald Sterling grouping, right? We're just talking like poor decision making within the team.
Those owners have their own place.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Filth.
Yeah. Yeah, we shouldn't even be bringing up their names, talking about them or giving them that. But I mean, what we're dealing with here in Chicago is an interesting situation right now with Jerry Reinsdorf and owning the Bulls and just kind of the mediocrity that the Bulls have been in for the last. Bulls haven't won a playoff series in a decade.
It's been a while.
Hey, that's not good.
Not at all. When you have the talent too, that's been there with this team, and not to be able to achieve what some would consider a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Right. Winning a playoff series, not even messing around with the play-in, just like being a top 6 team in the East.
Yeah.
Like that's a major step forward, but just unable to do that. So it's there. I think of Glenn Taylor, who used to own the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think he still is trying to hold on to a piece of the Timberwolves. Like, dude, just give the team up. Like,
he
Mark
finally
Lowry
did.
and A-Rod have the
he's
team. He's officially
out
done?
now,
Okay.
but that was within the last, 3 weeks that got figured out. Where
I was just reading something that said he's like,
and Lowry,
he still might appeal.
Oh, gosh.
He
Which
still
wouldn't
might
surprise me
appeal.
at all. Like,
dude, just give it up.
Right?
Like, stop.
No one likes you. The
No.
team doesn't like you. Players haven't liked him forever. The city doesn't like him.
And this is somebody born and raised in the state of Minnesota. Like, give it up, Glenn Taylor. Stop, man.
Yeah. That's a great one. I mean, do people think James Dolan is a bad owner?
Ooh.
Like, I wonder what New York fans, Knicks fans, I know they don't necessarily care for him, but like he has put together decent rosters. He's willing to spend.
Yeah. I would just say from people that I know.
Okay.
It's not something that
that is talked about in high regard.
No. They feel a type of way about James Dolan.
Yeah,
what's going on.
Somehow doesn't surprise
but
me.
I will say this though, with the Knicks and what the front office has been able to do, with the hiring of Tibbs. You think about just the roster reconstruction that they have as well. Leon Rose, Worldwide West, like they put the right pieces in place to turn this thing around, and that's a great sign of where you have some people in positions of power that put their hands up and like, all right, I'm going to take a step back, allow you guys to work, but if it doesn't work, I'm jumping right back in. But it's worked for this Knicks team and this franchise.
Well, I mean, I'm jumping around here, but that kind of feels like what just happened in Denver with the Kroenkes. Like, for the most part, they're hands off and they let the GM and, the president of basketball operations, all those positions go to work and do their thing. But when it comes time to make changes in terms of what they did recently with Mike Malone and Calvin Booth and firing them, like, finally they step in and they're like, okay, this isn't working. So the parent has to now step in and do this, right?
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's their money.
Right.
It's like, and you're not going to play with my money.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knows this as an adult. Don't play with my money.
That's right.
So you have to make those changes as well. So I understand it to a certain extent when it comes to the Kroenkes and the removal and firings of Mike Malone and Calvin Booth. Weird timing.
Yeah, very weird
that's
timing.
That's why we have David Adelman just being, the sacrificial lamb in this whole thing, because Denver's going to lose in 5, maybe even 4, how we've seen them play.
Well,
so
Denver's kind of cut the deficit a little bit at the half.
Would you look at that?
Kenny, what's the score? My computer won't refresh.
53-49 at half. We got a game here.
Okay,
so maybe this will be the one win that the Nuggets get in this series.
We should have bet Nuggets first game, Clippers the series. Dang it, we missed out there.
No, man, because Clippers are definitely going to win 3 straight if they lose game 1, and it's a wrap after that going back to
I still don't think they're losing this game. I think they come on the second half.
Yeah.
Going to be just
I'm with
fine.
you. I'm with you.
Yeah. And then you look at talking about the Clippers, their owner, Steve Ballmer. The guy's, a charismatic dude. He's at every game. He's building billion-dollar stadiums that are all built for the fan experience. Like
he's a maniac.
He is.
And I say that in the most respectful and positive way.
I think he would be okay with being called that.
Yeah.
Not that I know him by any means, but just his personality. Like, He'd probably be like, yeah, I am a little bit of a maniac.
And hopefully if he tells me that he's maybe on Skype or like a video.
Yeah.
Instead of being by me, because I feel like he would grab me by the shoulders like, Cam, I am a maniac.
Yes, he would.
I am a maniac. I love this game. Don't you? Like, that's the energy that Steve Ballmer gives you. But it's all genuine, though. And you love to see that.
Yes.
Like, owners like Steve Ballmer are great because, again, what you pointed out towards of what he's been able to do in the city of Inglewood, out in California, and the things that he's built for this franchise and having the Clippers have their own.
It's been great.
It's great.
It's been great.